Hello everyone, and welcome to Mr. Simplifies Tutorials. In this video we're going to look at Freud's stages of psychosexual development. Now, Freud believed that psychological development in human beings takes place in a series of fixed stages called psychosexual stages. Freud believed that human life was built around a balance between tension and pleasure. Freud believed that all of our tension was basically because of a build-up of libido or sexual energy, and that all pleasure came from the discharge of this libido. He decided to call his stages psychosexual because each stage represents the fixation of libido on a different body part. So as we grow up, certain areas or part become more important as sources of potential tension or pleasure release. So the focus changes from one body part to the other. Each stage is associated with a particular conflict type that must be resolved before the individual can successfully advance to the next stage. Unsuccessful completion of a stage leads to what is called a fixation, which means a portion of the individual's libido is too heavily invested in that particular stage, almost to the extent of saying it's permanently invested in that stage. And this, according to Freud, leads to certain childhood characteristics to be retained into adulthood. Okay, let's look at the stages in brief. The stages are oral, anal, phallic, latency, genital, and the age brackets are 0 to 1 years, 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, and 12 plus. And the pleasure sources in each stage are different. For instance, and the pleasure sources can also be labeled as sources of libido. So the sources of libido change from mouth, anus, genitals. The latency stage has no source of libido, and then the genitals again. Freud also believed that the first 5 years of a human being are extremely critical and crucial for their mental development. Let's look at the first stage, which is the oral stage. 0 to 1 years. The baby's libido here is centered around its mouth. So it basically derives satisfaction in putting things in its mouth, biting, breastfeeding, etc. Completion of this stage leads to the baby weaning away or simply moving away from breast milk or formula milk. Overindulgence in this stage can lead to oral personality traits like smoking, nail biting, etc., especially when under stress. So it all starts from this stage, as per Freud. The next stage is the anal stage, which is ages 1 to 3. Freud believed that children of this age focus their libido or derive pleasure from defecating. Parents tend to start disciplining children in this stage on when and where to defecate, also leading to the development of authority in children. They understand the meaning of the word no. Imbalanced or harsh toilet training, very strict toilet training, can lead to children developing traits of obsessive tidiness. They can also develop traits like punctuality and respect for authority from this stage. They can also become stubborn, obsessive about their valuables and cash. And this sort of behavior, this sort of personality is called anal retentive personality. If toilet training is too liberal, it can lead to the person becoming disorganized, can lead to them becoming rebellious. The person can also at the same time become liberal and giving. And this sort of a personality is called an anal expulsive personality. Now the next stage is the highly controversial phallic stage. You know why it's controversial once we go through this stage. The child here becomes more interested in his or her genitals and in the genitals of others, and this results in a conflict. According to Freud, the child in this stage develops an unconscious desire to possess the opposite sexed parent and to eliminate the same-sexed one. And he also labeled this for both the sexes. So in a male child, this phenomenon is called the Oedipus complex, wherein in the female child it's called the Electra complex. Successful completion of this stage leads to children developing traits similar to their same-sex parent. And fixation in this stage can lead to a vain personality, recklessness, sexual dysfunction, and can even be a leading source of homosexuality. So clearly, Freud looked at homosexuality as a sort of a disorder. Anyway, the next stage is the latency stage. And Freud believed that most of the energy in this stage is used by the child for schoolwork, for friendship, for learning and acquiring new skills, etc., leading to the libido being quite dormant. The major development here is a defense mechanism because of a non-existent libido and because of children primarily playing with other children of the same gender in this age. Quite interesting. And the next stage is the genital stage, which is years 12 plus. Now, puberty, according to Freud, is a time of sexual experimentation. Successful outlets of sexual intercourse in this stage leads to loving one-to-one relationships, especially more so specifically in the 20s, according to Freud. And fixations in this stage can lead to intimacy issues and mental development issues in people through the course of their lives. So this is sort of like an overview of Freud's stages, and as you can understand, it's not without its shortcomings, and it's not without its fair share of critiques. Now let's look at a couple of debates. Obviously, Freud believed that every stage, or the development of a stage, can have an impact much later on in a person's life. But essentially it means that there is a long and unknown time period between cause and effect, and that makes the whole thing quite ambiguous, quite vague, and there is no real link of cause and effect being definite. And then again, the major drawback is there's no empirical evidence to back up any of his claims. So it's just based on his observations, and it's important to kind of draw parallels with your own experiences, maybe, and look at the parallels of the learnings from these stages, and look at applying them in your own life. Okay, that was a bit of an overview of Freud's stages of psychosexual development. I hope you found the video and other content in this channel helpful. If you're new here, please feel free to subscribe. Please like the channel and the videos, and share the content for more regular content. Thank you very much. Hope you have a very lovely rest of the day.